Good morning, beautiful people. I am here bright and early in the morning, but welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I am Mrs. Best. We're here to go over our weekly recap of Bravo's show, The Valley. This is season 3, episode 17, titled Guilt Trippin'. This is going to be my recap, breakdown, and reaction to the boring episode that this was. I know that I am live at a time that I am not normally live, so my apologies and a big shout out to our replay gang. I should have done the Valley yesterday, but I did have mandatory overtime. I also had some schoolwork, so I got behind. So we're doing it today. We're also going to have a review later on for Married at First Sight. I believe James may be joining. But let's get into this episode because not a lot happened. As always, I do hope that everybody that makes it into this video does consider liking the video. I also hope you guys consider subscribing to the channel and all of those good things. This ain't gonna be a long review. That's why I was like, let me just get this out the way. The Valley should have been wrapped up like a while ago, in my opinion. Like, I'm genuinely surprised that it is still on TV. But listen, to each his own, to each his own. People will do what they do. But the episode starts with Zach and Benji having a serious talk together about kids. I don't ever understand why people stay in relationships where they have different goals, if that makes sense. Like, in my opinion, if you know that you want kids, you should date somebody who also wants kids. Like, I'm not trying to be disrespectful or anything crazy like that, but it just seems like it makes more sense to be around and to watch, or to be around and to date like-minded people, if that makes sense. Like, in terms of what I'm trying to say. And I just don't feel like you should be waiting to have a conversation about whether or not you want to have kids. Like, once you're already in the relationship, I feel like that should definitely be a conversation that people have early on. Now, I'm not saying dump someone because they're like, I don't want kids right now, but we should definitely know if somebody wants to have kids in life when we get with them. But Zach doesn't know if he wants children. He keeps saying he's unsure. And he asks Benji to give him a year to think about it. And Benji is like, that just kind of seems like a long time. And, kids are a non-negotiable. Listen, no disrespect at all to any of the gay men. Don't insult women like this. These men are talking about having kids as if their body carries a uterus that will make them bleed every month. And when they get past the age of 30, they act like they're going to be some sort of geriatric pregnancy or their health will be impacted. They act like they are fighting the biological clock that they don't have. Okay? And I am not getting at the gays at all, but I'm looking at Benji and Zach like, while I appreciate them for sharing their storyline, I'm low-key like, why is this a discussion? One, y'all should have talked about kids early on, and it sounds like Zach was aware that Benji wanted kids and he did not, yet y'all still proceeded to date. Doesn't make sense. Two, Benji, I don't understand why a year is too long for you to wait for Zach to think about it when, one, you haven't been together that long, two, you're in an open relationship and you don't even have citizenship. You're not even a citizen of these whack states of America. Okay, Benji is a Canadian citizen and they keep talking about his issues with citizenship. So it's like, why don't we pause the talk about kids, being that none of you men are able to carry a child and you can adopt whenever you're ready? Like, let's pause the talk about kids, Benji and Zach, and let's talk about stuff that makes sense, such as making sure the person you're having a kid with is a citizen or has a green card. Because as we see that orange thing in office that's destroying the world as we know it here in America, okay, he doesn't care if you're married, has a kid, or whatever. He's going to deport you. He doesn't care. If you're not a citizen and you're not supposed to be here, you'll be deported. So make sure before you have children with somebody that they have their doggone citizenship. I just feel like the Valley is grasping for straws. Good morning, Mrs. Moncrief. What's popping? I hope that you are having a good morning thus far. Ms. Moncrief said, hey, friend, I am so ready for this season to be done. And they are not trying to have kids. I was annoyed. And after this episode, they're like, season finale of The Valley next week. Bravo, we don't care. Hang it up. Hang it up. Shout out to Isaiah. Is it Isaiah J? I believe his name is. He's been getting a lot of success, by the way. So shout out to him. I followed this page for a long time. But hang it up, Clarice. Boo, boo, tomato, boo. Like, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at with the Valley. I'm so annoyed. They have nothing to talk about. They have no storyline outside of Nia and Danny. Y'all are not going to irritate me with two men who do not have uteruses discussing kids as if they're on a timeline. Now, if I were to see two women in a relationship together discussing kids like this, I would be like, okay, this makes sense, because if one of you intends to carry, you got to figure it out. But neither Zach or Benji can. So I'm just like, I'm over it. But I wish them the best. I wish them the best. Honestly, Benji reminds me of like Zach's little sidekick or pet. Don't know why, but I like Zach, so I hope it works out. Now, Nia was away because she has been judging the Miss America pageant, or Miss USA. Let me get it right before Portia come call me ashy as she did to Kenya. But she went to judge the USA pageant. She comes from the beauty world situation and area, and she's back home. Danny, you prove more and more why a lot of women are careful with who they marry. One, even though Danny has not done any essay to Janet, hasn't really done anything to Janet, Jasmine, or Lala or Britney, even though they're trying to attack him for it, he gives them something to talk about by how he has behaved this season. He has been an absolute donkey as it relates to his wife. You got a vasectomy because your wife has to carry and is tired, and she comes back, and the first thing you can say is, now that mommy's home, I can lay down. Like, women keep going while they're stitched up from giving birth, okay, after having C-sections and stuff. This man act like he couldn't handle it while Nia was away. Mind you, Nia had the baby because she has to breastfeed. So, Danny, please do better. But all that comes with this conversation is Nia mentions that she feels like Britney speaks very badly about her when she's not around. And I'm like, Nia, girl, you just now figuring this out? Are we just now figuring this out? Because Britney has been this way. Britney has been this way if we go back to the Vanderpump Rules days. Like, Britney has never been a friend to anybody. She reps Kentucky terribly. And I love AB to death. That's one of our moderators on this channel. He is located in Kentucky. And the people we have on TV right now, from 90 Day Fiance to Britney from Kentucky, are just doing that state bad. But I know that it's just these people and not the state. But I don't know why Nia's speaking on this so late, if that makes sense. Like, girl, you should have been noticed that Britney is a snake. She's always been that way. But Michelle and Jesse have a little scene to, I guess, finalize the finalization of their divorce. All that happens, Jesse signs the documents. They've been approved by the lawyers. The lawyers are going to send these signed documents to the court so that the court can approve, seal, stamp it, and vote and grant them their divorce decree. Okay? Now, this divorce has taken forever, and they did both seem sad. And I don't think people understand when you actually get married for love and don't just say yes to every person that proposes to you and marry every person that wants to marry you. Like, when you're actually marrying for love and think you're with your forever person, and then that ends for whatever the reason is, it's heartbreaking. So I do feel for Jesse and Michelle, because you could tell that they're both like a little upset and heartbroken at the fact that their marriage is coming to an end. And I don't think they expected that. Mind you, we've only had 3 seasons of The Valley. Only one of them, this couple was married. And they played like this little montage of them together. It's just sad because I feel like they both tried in their own ways, but they also both tried too little too late. But they were vulnerable. They popped some champagne together. And I'm glad that they're getting along, and I hope they maintain their positive relationship for co-parenting. But this is boring. I'm sorry. This is boring. I was falling asleep watching the episode because it's like, y'all, I'm sad about the divorce. I get it. But my thing is, I genuinely in my heart of hearts feel like when I met Jesse and Michelle on this show, I didn't expect for this couple to last. I guess I don't really care for Jesse. I don't really care for Michelle, but I don't dislike them either. I just wish them the best with their dating. What else do y'all want from us? Like, there's not much here. Let me know, to the replay gang or whoever's here now, if like maybe there's something you guys felt about this, you know, scene with them sharing the champagne and signing the divorce papers. But, you know, I was just kind of like, eventually they would have broke up anyway. They caught it on camera, but, you know, it's a sad thing. There's not much I can say. Doing the best I can with what I got, y'all. Okay. And the Valley is not giving us much, because when they're not throwing Danny and Nia under the bus, they are proving that they have no storyline, and maybe the show needs to go or change up the cast. Now, after we see that scene, we see Tom and his girlfriend. I believe her name is Kiana. He, her, Lala, and Michelle are on a boat, and they're discussing Kristen's feelings towards Janet. And I don't know. They think that Kristen has like this hatred towards Janet. I think that everybody gets so wrapped up in the drama that Janet has started as it relates to the Danny and Nia and the SA comments, that they forget that prior to Danny doing anything, Janet was already not liked. Nobody liked her season 1. We said that she was the worst pregnant lady we've ever seen on television. And season 2, she took it to hell, to the straight basement of hell. So it's like, Janet, we've never liked you. You're forced on us. It's nice that some of your friends are trying to defend you, but Kristen has had problems with Janet prior. That's how we opened season 2, with Kristen and Janet trying to make peace of the problems that they had the season before, and the issues that Kristen had as it related to Jesse and Michelle and all of that. Like, everybody likes to focus everything with Janet on Danny and Nia, but y'all are forgetting Janet's been a raging bitch and a pick-me since she came on this show while pregnant. Just saying. So I was a little annoyed at that. Thank you, Mrs. Moncrief. Let's not forget Janet iced Kristen out. She did. Janet was horrible to Kristen and to Zach in season 1. In addition to being horrible to Kristen and Zach, she riled up all of this drama between Jesse, Michelle, and the group. And she was not very helpful with Britney and Jackson's situation. Janet has always been a messy ass bone carrier. So the fact that, I know some people are like, oh, Janet told this sad story about being SA'd and we feel sorry for her. Unfortunately, these are things I've experienced in my childhood, SA'd from both a random person in a movie theater. It made Bay Area news. My assault that I had to deal with that happened to me, it was all over the news. Like, it was very embarrassing because it added another layer to that. In addition to that, unfortunately, I dealt with some SA within my family when I was a little girl as well. I have never used that mess to say, like, oh, I act this way because of that. Or, oh, I know I had this issue with this person, but because I went through this, I'm going to use that as an excuse. Like, Janet is vile in a way, in my opinion, that is dangerous. And I promise y'all, if Janet looked like me and was melanated and fabulous, that she would not have gotten away with this mess. She just would not. Let's not forget Janet iced Kristen out from season 1 for no reason. And I just can't believe people are sitting here acting like they don't know why Kristen does not like Janet. Janet also brought up Kristen. So if anyone remembers Vanderpump Rules, Kristen, Jackson, Britney were all let go from the show for utilizing racial slurs against the Black community that I'm not going to say on YouTube. And Kristen did a public apology, did all of this stuff. Really worked to, it seemed like she worked to like go to therapy, learn all of this stuff. But Janet is the one that like reinforced that and brought it up to make people not like her. And I don't understand why. Like, it genuinely irked me. It irked me. Kiwan said, Thuggy, you are live early this morning. I am. I was supposed to do this live yesterday, but my job had me work mandatory OT. And then I got home and I had to do schoolwork. I'm trying to get better at like getting my assignments in on time and things like that. And then I fell asleep. I woke up this morning at 5 a.m. I'm normally up by 6 at the latest, but I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning because I needed to call Costco because they messed up my membership. So then I was like, you know what? Let me just get the Valley out the way, child. Let me just get it out the way. But y'all, please see the link in the description of this video. I did tag Kiwan in this video. She does not cover this show, but she covers a lot of other great Valley Bravo shows, such as Next Gen NYC. I know she covers RHOA, or is she covering RHOA? I know Kiwan says she's letting go of some housewife shows, but she covers a lot. Tap in. She's also reviewing the show from the past, the Soul Food series from the movie. So give that a chance as well. I appreciate you, Key1. I appreciate you so much. I do. Oh, yes. And thank you, y'all. We just celebrated 900 subscribers. I'm 100 subscribers away from 1,000. That is the goal here on YouTube. I'm always just tickled pink, as my Nana would say, that anybody even subscribes and cares to hear my opinion. So I appreciate y'all. I've also made a lot of friends on YouTube. Y'all my virtual homeboys and homegirls, okay? So I love all of y'all. Now, they have this talk on the boat, Tom, Lala, and Michelle, and it's mentioned that Kristen feels like Janet is doing too much, and they feel like her hatred is heavy. But again, they try to bring up what Janet's gone through. Lala, if you knew what she's gone through, dog, Lala, be quiet. Be quiet. You was eating coochie in the back of cars while drunk. Be quiet. Not your lane, Lala. Please stop. Like, please stop. Now, Luke and Kristen go to therapy, and I was happy to see them in therapy because they desperately need couples counseling. And for those of y'all who think that having a baby is going to keep a man or save your relationship, listen to this licensed practitioner who told them what I have been telling y'all for a very long time on YouTube. Having children makes your relationship harder. Even if you are in the strongest, most healthy relationship, having a child is that one thing, especially when your child is an infant, that can really put some division in the situation and ruffle the feathers. That's not to say that the baby is not a blessing, but that blessing requires hard work and no sleep. And if you really don't know your spouse and don't have a strong foundation, then that can become problematic. Now, basically, Luke says that he doesn't care for pregnant Kristen, how since she's had her baby. And he was like, "Ooh, I shouldn't have said that." I don't think there's anything wrong with him saying that in a setting that is controlled, such as the therapy setting, because he has been saying this, and it really just seems like, I don't know, in my opinion, it really just seems like Luke is afraid to say what he feels, because look at how this group makes it seem like Janet could just get away with murder because of what she has, went through. It seems like people are not allowed to say what they feel in the Valley friend group. And, Luke is speaking about that. He does apologize, but I'm glad the therapist pointed out, like, please talk about your feelings. Kristen, she made a good point. She's like, you obviously feel this way, but then you're not, like, you always apologize when it's clearly how you really feel. Just say what you feel and stand in it, which I agree with. It's not like she's going to leave you for having a feeling about her, especially when she knows she's being difficult. But I guess he wants to have another baby, and he has the mindset of like, let's just get this over with so I don't have to deal with this ever again, which a lot of people have that mindset, and I don't see anything wrong with it. But, I did feel like the therapist did a good job at acknowledging both of their feelings. I still think this couple will be okay, but I also hope that Kristen and Luke continue therapy, because I think separate from having this baby, Kristen is difficult. Now, I've been watching Kristen since season 1 of Vanderpump Rules. Okay, I watched her get fired, cussing out that lady for no reason. I watched her crash out. We watched her get backhanded by Stassi. Kristen has always kind of struggled as it relates to getting out of herself and seeing someone else's perspective. But something I've learned watching Kristen over the years is I really don't think she means no harm, but that doesn't excuse the behavior. So you could be postpartum, but being postpartum and having a baby does not make it okay for you to mistreat your spouse, tell them they're not a good dad, and crash out. It gives a reason for your crash out, but it doesn't make it okay. But at the same time, if Kristen is going to therapy and doing the work, you have to be patient. Therapy does not work overnight, and postpartum's not going to just disappear overnight. It's not. And then on top of that, she's tired because she got a baby suckling at her teat and waking it up in the middle of the night. Like, I feel like Kristen and Luke just need to both learn to give each other space and grace and stay in therapy. I think they'll be okay. I think they'll be okay, y'all. I do. Let's get my girl to her thou wow. I love Miss Sandra. I love Miss Sandra. I need to tag her in this video because I think that she covers the Valley as well. Absolutely love Miss Sandra. Y'all tap into Sandra P. Gen Extra. Great creator. Super kind soul. Tap in, tap in. I also love her live chat community. They're super, super kind. Tap in. Now, Britney and her botched face and body. I'm sorry, y'all. This lady's not attractive. And I know I ain't no Beyonce, Okay. I ain't top tier myself, but I think natural me look better 10 times more than Britney done up in makeup. And at this point, I don't like this lady, so I don't have the nicest words for her. But I'm tired of her like, well, I have to get this plastic surgery because Jax made me feel bad about myself for so long. You can only blame this man for so much for so long, girl. And okay, you're getting plastic surgery because someone made you feel bad about yourself. So obviously you let the opinions of others impact you that much. And you stayed with him for so long and was willing to get the surgery with him. So I'd be struggling to understand like Britney at all. But she's home with her son Cruz. And I want to point out, I will say, since getting away from Jax and getting some stability, you could see the improvement with Cruz's autism. He has made great strides. When this little boy was first on TV, he didn't really speak. He didn't really say a lot. He wasn't really like reciprocating the affection his parents or others were giving him. Now he seems more open, carefree. It seems like he's having like somewhat of a normal experience as a child. And I love that. And I also, even though I think Britney is the devil with a bad facelift and a bad mommy makeover, I think she's a great mom. I do think she's a great mom. I love how she pours into that little boy, and I love the love that she gives him. So I love that. I love that for Cruz. Still don't care for Britney, but I think he's a cute kid, and I love to see him doing better. Now, unfortunately, Janet comes by, but she doesn't have her pet, and Janet wants to have an event. She's inviting the entire group, but she's not inviting Kristen and Nia. I'm actually not mad at Janet for not inviting Kristen and Nia. The reason they don't show up, as Janet explained, and I don't think they should pretend to be cool if they really not cool like that. Why invite them if you're not together like that? But she wants to invite them to an event she's going to have at Chili's. She claims that being from Ohio, which fun fact, Ohio is like the test capital for fast food for this country. So like, I believe you'll find like every fast food place they say somewhere in Ohio. I have watched some weird YouTube documentary on that, but definitely not surprised that she loved fast food. Maybe the chemicals in the fast food are what makes Janet evil. Strong inference, but maybe that's what's wrong with her. But I didn't like that Janet said F Nia in her confessional, because it's like, Nia's done nothing to you. If your problem is with Danny, why are you mad at Nia? You've actually thrown Nia under the bus by bringing this situation up with Danny, and now you want to say F Nia? Listen, Nia's not like the rest of y'all. As Nia explained, she's from round the way. And I think that's why Nia is so calm and cries when the group frustrates her, because she can't do to these women what she probably was used to doing growing up on the streets of LA, and that's whoop these heifers' ass. Okay, what did Jill Scott say in that song, Getting in the Way? And here comes you and your big mouth talking about me. What she said, and you know that's a lie. She said, you keep lying on my man, I'm going to take you out in the middle of the street and whoop your tail. That's probably, I genuinely feel like that is probably what Nia be wanting to do with these women, but she can't, so she cries. That's me. That's me. When I was younger Mrs. Best, if you play with me, square up. But now, like, I have like licenses attached to my job and my name, and I have to behave. So I can't do the same thing. I can't do the same things, okay? But in the words of Jill Scott, I am not mad at Nia if she does that, because it's literally that situation. You keep talking about my man, I'm going to take you out in the middle of the street and whoop your ass. What Jill say, for all is worth, $5.99 or something like that. Because that's what Janet is giving with her, I eat $600 worth of McDonald's breakfast in a month while pregnant. What? You better go get that child assessed. You don't know what chemicals are in them. My God. But I'm just over it. It's like, okay, Janet, you're having an event at Chili's of all places. Okay. Miss Moncrief said, and Britney is the most dangerous friend you can ever have. Say it louder, Mrs. Moncrief. I agree with that. Anytime that you have to go up against her, she wants to throw her whole tenure of your friendship in her face. I don't like when people do that. I don't. I genuinely cannot stand when people do that. Like, if we get into it, please do not. Well, I've been here longer than this person. So what? So what? Sometimes people make other friends. Like, let it go. Can't stand Britney. Oh, thank you. I appreciate you. This is Miss Sandra's link. Thank you, Kiwan. You pulled an AB. You got this link out the bushes. If you are in the live chat or watching our replay at this time, feel free to click the link that is in the live chat for Miss Sandra. If you're watching our replay, it will be in the description of this video. I appreciate you, Kiwan. I love me some Jill Scott. I should have seen her when she came to Oakland. I need to go see her. Now, the group goes to Chili's, and the way they spoke about Chili's irked me. They acted like it would, like some of them acted like they were too good for Chili's. And I'm like, this is a family restaurant. Y'all act like you real celebrities. Like, please stop. No, ain't nothing wrong with Chili's. I love Chili's. I love me some Chili's. I still be singing the commercial tune, I Want My Baby Back, from years and years ago. Love Chili's. That's actually where me and Mr. Best had our first date. We were in high school and he took me to the Chili's at Bayfair Mall in San Leandro, California. It is still open. We said maybe our relationship gonna last as long as this restaurant, because a lot of Chili's be closing. But that is actually where I had my first date ever, as well as my first date with my husband. So shout out to Chili's. We all love stories. Put me in a commercial, okay? Put me in a commercial, because what did he have? Those honey chipotle something. I think it's still on the menu too. Love Chili's, so I'm not against Chili's. But the group is there. Janet says that she received zero grace for the words that she used, but claims that Danny gets all the grace in the world. I said, really? Danny has apologized and his reputation has been destroyed. He's been slandered. Like, and you're saying that you got zero grace? Janet, you didn't get grace because you're a mean bitch and you deserved all of the flack that you were getting. That is why. Because you do too much. And you insult SA victims and survivors such as myself by trying to, one, bring up something that I don't even believe happened to her. I'm just going to say it. Why? Because she would have been mentioned it. Then you mention it only after you see that the group don't like you and nobody's on your side. Now you have other people mentioning it for you. This is a way to weaponize SA. And if Bravo does not get her for this at the reunion, I will not be back to cover this show next season. I promise y'all that. I'm not going to compromise my morals and my ethics, especially off of something that's sensitive that I experienced as well, to watch some overly privileged white woman get on television and lie and use a horrible situation and trigger others just because she can't be accountable for her bad behavior. No, you can keep it, bro. Okay, I pay for YouTube television and I have lots of apps. I'll find something else to watch. Get rid of Janet. If you get rid of anybody else, it needs to be Janet, because I'm tired of this lady. Now, the group claims that Danny needs to apologize for his behavior and never do it again. Danny's bad behavior this season has not been towards the group. It's mostly been towards his wife. So when it comes to the situation, just like we just saw in Mexico, Danny said, I will continue to apologize for this because I'm sorry. And he hasn't touched anyone again drunk. He hasn't done anything else. So it's like y'all say he just needs to apologize and not do it again, but he's done that and you're still making it a thing. So then Britney's nasty ass says that Zach dismisses Janet and she feels like Zach needs to give her a chance. In my opinion, Zach is gross, and Britney, you're just doing a terrible job. Like, you're a terrible friend. We don't take you seriously. When you were with Jax, we looked at you as a dumb broad. You was a dumb bitch with Jax, who was desperate and a pick me. Now that you're not with Jax, you're just insufferable, intolerable, and always throwing your friendships in people's faces, forcing them to choose sides. And you like to attack anybody that you're not cool with. The same stuff Britney does with Jax, she's trying to do that with Danny and them. When Britney doesn't get her way with people, she suddenly paints them out to be horrible. But when she's getting her way with them, even if the people are doing horrible things, she doesn't see a problem with it. Britney is a hypocrite. So I just want Britney to be quiet, because none of this has to do with you. Janet was defending Jasmine and has become her own like something, so she has to discuss it. But this has nothing to do with Britney. Britney, sit down and shut the fuck up with your botched face and do like Michelle and look at the menu. You don't have to comment and put yourself in anything. It's not about you. And we don't want it to be about you, Britney, because you bore us. You bore us. You just do. Now, Britney claims that she's tried for years to smooth things over. with this situation, which is also a lie. And she claims that her points do not matter. And of course, she made it about herself. Brittany, I'm not even going to give you the time on my channel to discuss you because your points don't matter, because this has nothing to do with you. And we don't care. And I feel the same way about Lala and the points that she makes. You just got here. Okay, in the words of Jocelyn, ho, why is you here? Talk about Randall. Okay, talk about Randall. Talk about Harvey Weinstein / Diddy part 2 that you were with for years. Talk about the man who you made a baby with and stole while he had a woman. While y'all want to get at Danny and Nia, talk about your shit, Brittany. Because Brittany, you watched Jax on national TV be terrible, brought him out here and said, oh, I'm going to get these massive titties and botch myself for him. Okay? And then you look at Lala and it's like, girl, you just a high class side chick who never got a ring or a wedding. So I'm looking at them and I'm just kind of like, please, y'all are miserable. Y'all are actually miserable. Good morning, DM Rocks. Hey, off topic, I heard the rumored cast for Beverly Hills is Kyle, Erica Sutton, Rachel Bowes, and Amanda as full-time. Jennifer Tilly and Crystal are back as friend of. I will be discussing that on Sunday on my channel, actually, because there has been a lot. And I know it's like just the rumored cast, but in the rumored cast I saw, I did not see Erica there. But I will definitely be talking about that this Sunday on the channel because there's a lot that's happening with rumors and honestly pop culture in general. There's a lot going on, y'all. Now, Kristen, Lala, and Britney, after the whole Chili's event, which was boring. It was boring. You had an entire event, Janet, that you finally got to throw. You finally had the opportunity to not invite Kristen or Nia, which I was not upset at Janet for doing that. Just for you to discuss Kristen, Nia, and Danny the whole time at your event. And the waitress at Chili's needs to change her hair. It's a wonder the woman has employment with that. I didn't understand it. But they're discussing the next day, Zach and Nia. And Brittany was super excited to hear that Nia guilt tripped Zach because Brittany was just excited to make Nia into a problem. And I think that's pathetic that you're excited for someone else to be the problem. But when anyone blames Brittany for something, no, I would never. I'm just so sweet. I'm such a good friend. Bitch, please. We see right through you, Brittany. We see right through you. Right through you. We can't help but to see you. That mommy makeover did not work, but we see right through you, heifer. Now, I don't understand why they want to force their friends to choose. Like, I've known James for over 20 years, right? We went to high school together. I met him when I was a sophomore in high school, okay? 14. Now, we're 35 now, but there are people from school that I just don't mess with no more, people I fell out with that he still, well, not really too close, but he still spoke to, never asked him to choose sides, ever. I think that's the worst things that you could do. The absolute worst thing that you could do. And it's crazy that this group keeps expecting people to do it. It's also crazy that I have to talk about the same thing over and over, week after week throughout an episode. But I don't know. Brittany made another comment talking about, you know, Zach barely knows Nia. Brittany and Janet are the cancer of this show. Lala just got here and is following suit. I kind of expect for Lala to follow Brittany and Janet just because I believe Janet was brought to us by Sheena. Sheena and Lala were good at the time that Lala was supposed to be signing contracts to come onto the show. Like, I'm not even mad at Lala for whoever side she's taken, and Lala's always been annoying and done too much on the show. But I genuinely believe that the toxicity and the cancer of this show are Janet and Brittany. I truly believe that. And we didn't get to see it until Jax went away. But I think Brittany is just as bad as Jax, if not worse. She is dangerous. I truly believe this is the definition of a dangerous white woman. I do. But I don't know. I guess they're doing like a photo shoot for Brittany. She did look a little bit better since her mommy makeover. I just wish that she would have lost some of the weight naturally, because it'd be like if I lost all my weight, but then my neck still looked the same as it did when I was 200 pounds. Like, Brittany, just lose it naturally. But she did look a lot better. And this photo shoot, she just really botched her face, y'all. I can't see it enough. When they show her face from when she was younger, to now, like from before on Vanderpump, yes, we all age and we don't look the same, but she botched her face. I mean, her eyebrows used to be right here. Now it's like way over there in an arch and all this crazy stuff. This is just love yourself. Just love yourself, y'all. Because Britney was beautiful. She really was. And I'm tired of what she did to herself. But she just was happy to blame Nia for everything. And everyone's adults. You should all be able to be friends. You're also doing a television show. So to create this much divisiveness is not smart for long term. That's what happened with Vanderpump Rules and why that show did not survive. But the problem that I had was Lala saying, if Nia has a problem, she needs to say it with her chest. Okay, Ms. Lauren with your black scent. Nia does say it with her chest. Y'all not listening to her. She's been told you her problem and y'all just have set in your mind how you feel about it. And it's comical. Lauren from Utah, be quiet. Be quiet, Lauren. Please shut up. Please. Dia Brock said, I love Chili's. Those $6 margaritas, right? I love Chili's because you could get a cheap drink and food that tastes good. Now, Applebee's will give you cheap drinks also, but it's watered down and the food be nasty and all of it is microwaved. I waitressed for Applebee's once, y'all. That's Southland Mall in Hayward. Sure did. And I said, that's all we do is pop it in the microwave. We had a cook call out. I was like, what are we going to do? They were like, just microwave this and throw the veggies on top. I said, excuse me? Lord. Anywho, last scene we're going to talk about, because not much happened, was Lala talking to Kristen at the house. And, you know, Lala explained Janet's struggle in terms of the essay that Janet claims that she dealt with. And Lala says, if you knew what was going on, you would really give her an excuse. And I said again, Janet is intolerable and irresponsible regardless of what happened. And the fact that Janet experienced something so traumatic to happen to her as someone who's gone through that and still chooses to act this way makes her even worse. Makes her even worse. I also feel like Janet verbally attacks people. Kristen pretty much looked at Lala and was like, I understand what you're saying about her, and I feel for her and would never wish that on anyone. But Kristen said what we all been thinking. What Janet went through has nothing to do with our problems in our friendship. Has nothing to do with even Danny and Nia. It's deeper than that. And I think this goes to show where terms like Karen come from in America. There is an entitlement amongst a certain type of people in this country that are not supposed to be here in the first place. There's definitely a certain type of entitlement with the colorless women in America that can be almost dangerous for other people. And I think that a lot of women like Janet tend to think that they go through something no matter how big or how small, and it gives them an excuse to act a fool. But I'm tired of it. And I agree with this. Lala used to be someone who would like stand on her own in Vanderpump Rules at the very least, even if the whole group was against her. Hell, her first couple seasons, nobody liked her like that because they were so intimidated by her prettiness. But now, coming back on television, Lala looks like Janet's lapdog, and it's pathetic to watch. It's pathetic. I'm tired of the, I don't care, homie, and this and that dog. Talk to a bitch like me like that, Lala. You said, oh, Nia, say it with your chest. She literally said it with her chest, and as you said, deboed you and kept you from meeting with him, and you was scared to talk to her. Why? Because you are Janet's lapdog, and you don't understand the battle that you are fighting, which irked my absolute soul. But that's pretty much all that happened with the episode, y'all. I'm drained. They better figure it out. Next season, I will continue to cover the Valley, but I'm going to give it a trial of 5 episodes. I'm also going to base it on what happens at the reunion. If the reunion shows accountability, I'll cover the next season in full in its entirety. If the reunion shows more bullshit or people coordinating attacks against Danny, Nia, Kristen, and Zach, then I'm going to give it a trial, 5 episodes. And if they're still talking about and doing the same thing, I'm done with the Valley. I'm done. There's a lot. My cat is literally making my computer shake. Y'all see it? Lord, move, little bug. But yeah, I'm kind of over it. I'm kind of over the Valley. I'm definitely over the Valley. DM Rock says, I saw a preview of the finale. Jasmine was defending Jesse and Michelle and started arguing, and Michelle's friend jumped in. Huh. Interesting. Jasmine's always looking for someone to argue with also. I feel like Jasmine needs to be demoted to a friend of. She doesn't give full-time cast member. I don't really care for Jasmine, but I also don't have too much of a problem with Jasmine. But I feel like she's too wishy-washy. She's too flip-floppy. And she doesn't have enough of a storyline to have anything filmed herself. She just doesn't. We never see her sell houses, but she's supposed to be this great realtor. But they show Michelle selling houses. I don't know if it's an edit that we're not seeing stuff with Jasmine. Now that she's married to Melissa and Melissa's kind of a bore, it's like, what do we do with Jasmine, if that makes sense? So I feel like any argument Jasmine's in is one that she's picked and fought to have so she can be relevant. Did you see Kristen on Watch What Happens Live? I did. She said she can't defend Danny and his actions anymore. She did. And I didn't like how Jasmine and Zach were in the audience like, yep, you better say that. Get rid of him. I'm over it. But I'm glad that Kristen saw that Danny's actions were not okay. Because here's what people don't understand. Two things could be true at the same time. Nia and Danny, well, with Danny, his actions were horrible this season towards his wife. But the rest of the group came for him too much and didn't have a reason to. And I think a lot of people feel like they have to side with one or the other, when everyone's a little bit wrong. The only person truly innocent in all of this, in my opinion, is Nia. Because nobody could fault her for defending her husband. And this is why a lot of y'all aren't married or have been married and divorced. Because sometimes people talk to each other crazy. That don't just mean you get a divorce. For better or for worse, if you take your vows seriously, you work through them. And who's to say that this isn't happening and there's not stress on their marriage just because of all that this is happening right now? So I try to give everybody grace, but I'm sorry, these people stressing me out. But y'all, that is it for now. I will be live later on in the evening to go over Married at First Sight. We got episodes 4, 5, and 6. So I'll be going over those. I believe James will be joining. But other than that, love and light to everybody. If you are watching this video now, I hope you have a really, really good Friday, TGIF. If you are watching our replay, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. And I hope that you have a good day, evening, or afternoon. But love and light to all of you guys. Shout out to all 900 subscribers. I really appreciate the support. It does warm my heart. And I will see y'all for the next review. Au revoir.